Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 61. I'm your host, Peter, and today I'm joined by Rich
Hey, what's going on, guys?
and Steph.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right, so we're going to start, right with Porto because there's a lot to talk about. There's two games for each team. So, as y'all know, Sporting were the first team to play this season, and they won their game. But Benfica and Porto only played this past Wednesday. So Porto played Estoril, where they won very comfortably, 4 goals to nil. Marega scoring twice, Brahimi and Marcano chipping in with goals. Casillas was in goal, Ricardo, Felipe Marcano, and Alex Telles across the back, with the new Oliver, Corona, Brahimi, Soares, and Abubakar. Rich, what did you think of that game, man? I thought it was quite interesting with all those offside goals.
Yeah. So I thought they played really well. I watched the whole match, and the first half was very intense. Trying to get the first goal. So there was a lot of opportunities. Porto was putting the pressure. They were on top of them. I think that's been Sergio Conceição's strategy from the get go. You can see in the preseason. He likes to push the line up a lot, and have their defenders kind of fall back. So you saw a lot of goals that were not goals because they were offsides. But I think they played well. It was sad to see Suarez leave, but you can tell he wasn't 100% for that game. There was rumors I spoke in the last podcast that he might not. He was probably not even going to play, and it would probably have been better if he didn't play. However, Marega came on, scored the first goal. You can say that it was pretty much a gift because the
That was
defense
terrible.
kind of handed him the goal. Yeah, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. Porto was putting the pressure on, and you can say that was a goal created because of that pressure. But
I mean, it's not like there was a lot of pressure on that play, though.
no, I mean that play specifically, no. But I mean, when you have them putting the pressure all the first half, they were bound to make some kind of mistake. I mean, it was lucky enough that it was just like a dumb pass, or he messed up on the pass. I don't remember exactly now. And it went straight to Marega's foot, and that was the first touch he did when he came on. He scored the goal. So, I mean, you can't complain when that happens. So after that, I was like, okay, finally we got the first goal. Things are gonna open up, and that's what happened. Sturil, tried to again come back at us, and and then second half we Marega scored again. Uh, let me see who else. Brahimi scored as well, right?
Yeah, and
Brahimi was
Marcano.
and Marcano was a goal that he scored, and then the video arbitro confirmed it basically because the ref wasn't going to make that a goal. But overall, just on my perspective of the players, I think that Brahimi played really well. Created a lot of chances. His with his dribbles and everything. What else? Abubakar, I think he needs to get better in front of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
He did have a lot of opportunities he missed, and I really like our defense, and I can't complain about them. They're doing really. Telles, still doing well. Ricardo Pereira, amazing. Um, Let me try to think. Am I missing anything? Uh, I don't know. What did you guys think?
I was just going to say that you reminded me of something that I was going to say on off when we were talking about, our strikers being clinical and stuff. And I was going to say to you that Abubakar is going to remind you a lot of Andre Silva because I think he's going to be very much like the same player. Um, as in, he's going to need a lot of chances to score goals. I'm not saying like he can't back 15 goals, but maybe he's gonna take like 50 shots to score those 15 goals. I
Yeah,
don't think he's gonna be a consistent goal scorer. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I think. He's gonna have stints where he might score like 5 games in a row and then go 15 games without a goal. So, um,
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he even when he came back from the loan, I know a lot of Portistas was like, just sell him, but he proved himself in the preseason that he should be a starter. So Sergio Conceição is giving him that opportunity. So I wouldn't be surprised, just like last season, Andres Silva started to regress, and then he started giving more opportunity to Suarez. So to the season, like as far as Suarez is definitely going to be starting, but I mean, like, um, and I hope eventually Rui Pedro, because uh, I hope they use him, but yeah, it seems like he's only the second option after Marega. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Steph, did you watch this game? Is there anything you'd like to add about this one?
The Port Studio.
Yeah.
Um, well, the Porto dominated from the get go. Usually, Studio, like Bruno says, from the commentator from Three Tugas, like he says it all the time. Studio, every time they go to Ustad Dragão, they play a good game. But that was not the case. Uh, Porto dominated. They played well, and basically, I was very impressed with the Merengue. He scored two goals, minute 35 and minute 62. And you could see that Sergio Conceição, he knows how to motivate his players. The defense is very solid. And this Porto is nothing to do with Porto from last year. So we're going to have a really good Liga NOS. And as a soccer fan, that's what I want. I hope it's neck to neck until the very end. So it was a good game. Nothing much to say. Porto dominated. Sergio Conceição is doing an outstanding job. Outstanding.
As a football fan, I agree with you. As a Benfica fan, I completely disagree with you. If we could have the league won by January, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. I
You're
mean,
not
that's
kidding. You're not kidding.
no, I'm not. I'm not. Anyway, that was a smooth transition into the Tondela Porto game because I can start off by just giving my opinion real quick before getting into the game itself, where I think we saw pretty much a lot of last year's Porto in that game. So, I mean, I'm not sold on Conceição just yet. Definitely not sold on him just yet. But I mean, you guys might disagree with me. Tondela played as Rich.
you talking about Tondela or Surreal?
No, I moved on to Tondela. I'm just listening to you.
Oh.
Pick up your backpack or whatever.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
He's unzipping. He's unzipping something. So
Yeah, let's just hope it isn't. Let's just hope that it isn't what I think it is.
yeah. No, it's not. That was a big zipper. No, it was not.
Maybe he needs a big zipper. Who knows?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Back on track. So Porto played Tondela. I accidentally have Tondela 1-0 Porto, which obviously we know it wasn't the case. Tondela lost to Porto 1-0. Abubakar scored the only goal of the game. It was pretty much the lineup against Estoril with Marega in for Soares. That was the only change. Rich, I know you couldn't watch this one. You had to listen to it. But what did you think about it from listening to it on the radio?
Well, from what I heard, I mean, I know it was going to be tough because playing away in Tondela is never really easy for Porto or for a lot of the big clubs. But I was glad that we got that goal again, to take a little bit of the pressure off. So again, I didn't really get to see most of the game, so it's hard to say. Like, I don't know really who. I did watch the goal on replay, and again, I thought it was again another opportunity where they were putting pressure on them, I forget who takes the shot from outside the box. I don't know if it was Danilo or what it
Nah,
was because
I
then
don't
I don't remember.
One
Okay,
in the first half.
no, the goal. It was somebody that took a shot outside the box. The goalie,
Oh yeah, I know.
defended it, and then
Maybe it's Brahimi. It was Brahimi. I think it was Brahimi. It wasn't out.
No. For well, Lex tells.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
fair enough.
He
so
shot the ball, and then it end up on
Abubakar got his
Abubakar's feet.
rebound.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah,
He still
but
made the
Abubakar
save.
still shot on the goal. He still saved it. And he cut his own rebound again and he scored.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard for me to say. I didn't really watch much of the game. I have to blame Fubo TV because they didn't watch. They didn't give me the game on Gold TV. They were watching. They aired Italian Super Cup, I think, or whatever it was.
Because
Yeah.
So
somebody
With,
cared.
yeah. With
Nobody,
Juventus, with Lazio,
so I,
with
nobody,
Lazio,
nobody cares
and
about that.
Lazio, and
so
Lazio won. It doesn't matter what they.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I did hear that Tondela in the second half, early last minute, Casillas had to make some good
Oh yeah,
saves to keep the win. So, there we go. I mean, Casillas still has it, and he's still giving us those wins at the end of the game.
no,
Um,
yeah, that's true.
but but I did hear that Porto did play well. It's very tough. Like even the Benfica game, it's hard going away in these smaller stadiums,
Hmm.
and playing when you are in such a tight spot. So, what helped Porto was the goal in the first half. Taking off some of that pressure. But sometimes they can score, and then there you go, you're screwed again. But
Yeah,
I did know that they play well.
yeah, they defended much in the second half to a point where I believe every substitution made was a defensive substitution to try and keep on the
Oh,
one
that's
nil
right.
lead.
I think he took out. Was it Marega he took out or Bubukar, one of them? He put
Zabubakar, I think.
yeah, and he put in he put it,
Andre.
he and then there he also put in Layun. I think
Oh yeah,
he took out a midfielder and put Layun or something like that.
yeah. He took out like a Corona maybe. I think it might have been
Yeah,
Corona.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Hey,
and good thing you mentioned Corona. I don't think Corona's been
I thought he
100%
was
this
limping.
season.
I thought he was limping when I was watching that game. He really looked like he was limping, but he stayed on the pitch for like an extra 10 minutes, and I was surprised because he
Yeah,
looked like he was injured.
but yeah, not just that game. Like the game against Surreal, I didn't really like Corona. Like what he was providing for the game. Like he was messing up a lot, bad passes, bad crosses, and I think Porto, if they do get anybody in the market before the transfer window closes, they should definitely a winger.
Mm-hmm.
So
Steph, what were you gonna say?
um, the dimensions of the stadium at Tondela, it's 102 meters by 68, and just to compare, and then Porto, it's 105/68. So it's not that much of a difference. There's no longer small pitches anymore. It's small fields. They're all about the same. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is, Sporting, Porto, Benfica, they had a difficult time winning the last game because every time a team plays low block, they make it difficult, and that's what's going on. They will struggle, and they have to find ways to open that tuna can.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. But I did like Tondela's midfield. I think that the thing that the small teams need to uh just understand is that they need to have a limit in between defense and attack, where you can't just defend throughout the 90 minutes, which I thought Tondela did kind of well, but was still wasn't enough for them to grab a point. I thought Porto didn't play bad either, but yeah, when teams defend, they definitely seem to be having a lot of trouble. So I do agree with you on there. Steph, did you watch that game? Did you think that Tondela were a little bit unlucky by the end to not grab a goal, or do you think that the win was well deserved?
Well, the if it was a tie, it wouldn't be. It would have been a fair score too. But Porto did create more chances of goal until minute 70, and then the last 20 minutes, they they, they kind of gave it to Tondela,
Yeah.
and then and then uh, and then Tondela could have tied the game. Yeah,
Yeah, I do
Ah,
think so too. Sorry to cut you off, Rich. But for you to just get a better understanding, is that the final 20 minutes with Andre playing a three-man midfield, Porto just dropped off on defense, and Tondela was basically at one point playing with like two center backs, and the rest was like all over Porto's midfield. So um,
I was
I don't
just
know if
gonna
you was
say
gonna.
that
Yeah,
I think the draw would have been unfortunate, especially from what I've heard from a lot of my Portista friends that watched the game. I know that they did dominate the game, even though the second half they defended, but that was also based on the substitutions that you know
of course. Yeah.
Sergio Conceição did. So I mean, well, at that point, 70 minutes on, we got the goal. Might as well hold the lead. We're you know that I think that he did a good job. I mean, I usually like putting more pressure, but sometimes you put pressure and you open up your defense and they can score on the counter. So he did the right thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Porto win, and here's a fun stat for you guys. Um, I believe like since 90, was it like 1980 something that the big three didn't win the first two games in the in the start of the season. So there you go.
back to back. Yeah,
Oh, I did
Yeah,
read that. It was like over 25 years or something like that. Yeah, I read
yeah,
that.
it's crazy. And Benfica can win the first three games of the season since like 1990 something, I think so too. So interesting.
Yeah, I know that usually somebody starts off with a draw. Usually Benfica or
But
Sporting or Porto.
yeah, it's always us. It seems to be always us. Like we always tie a game. It's like unbelievable. Ugh. Uh, but yeah, Porto get two wins. They go top, I believe. So they got 5 goals scored, 0 goals conceded. So not a bad start to their year. Um. All right. I don't know if you want to say anything about Porto, Rich. Anything else? Because I don't know. There hasn't been any transfer rumors. I mean, I think we covered Martin Zindi leaving last week.
Yeah.
So I don't
No, I
know.
mean I haven't heard anything much too. I I do hope that they get this guy they're trying to get from Brazil. I think it's Corinthians. Forgot his name. Damn it.
Oh
But
yeah.
hopefully they get him before the transfer window closes. I know the side really wants to get him, so hopefully they do get him because we need someone like that, especially for depth in the midfield, the wings. So we'll see what happens. But besides that, I do have to mention that Oliver Torres. I think he's having a great season. I was never really high on this guy in prior seasons, but I think that he has he has the ability to be a really good midfielder. So I just want to give him credit. I think he's
You, I think we lost you there, Rich.
yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, you were talking about Oliver Torres and said you think he, and then just cut off.
Oh, I said I think he's having a really good season compared to the last season. Where he was good. He showed promise, but I think now he's reaching that maturity where he's creating very good opportunities through the middle because
Mm-hmm.
he's more of a 10. So he's doing a good job. So
Mm-hmm. So before we move on from Porto, they play this weekend, this Sunday against Moreirense, and I wouldn't think you expect anything else but a win.
yeah, I mean, playing at home, I hope that it's nothing less than a win, but you never know with what it is. I think they have a good squad too, though. Um, so yeah.
All right. All right. I think that pretty much covers sport. I mean, the thing with this team is that they they're so low on money that there aren't even any transfer moves for us to go about, and their team's quite solid as well. All right, I want to move on to Sporting now. So Sporting played this past Friday against Vitória de Setúbal. Bas Dost bagging the goal from the penalty spot, 86 minutes in, I do believe. Rui Patricio was in goal, Piccini, Coates, Matthew, and Jonathan Silva. Bataglia, Adrian Gelson, Acunha, Podense, and Bas Dost. Steph, I know we were talking off air how it wasn't really a good game.
Well, we dominated the game. That's everybody agrees with that. Well, if you do disagree, just say so. But Stubble didn't really create any chances of goal. If I recall it, it was just one. That's it. Besides that, we dominated the game from the get go. The tactic we used was a 4-2-3-1. Um, so that's basically that was a little bit surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Usually that's not the way the tactic we use, but usually we like to play with 4-4-2. Uh, but anyway, it was good enough to win the game by 4-0, but we didn't score, and then we made it more difficult, and then Stubble uh, started gaining some momentum, and we scored a penalty kick at the 86th minute.
Let me just go right at you and make the question. What do you think of the call?
The penalty kick?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to be completely honest. Okay. As a Sportingista, of course, I'm glad he called it. Um, but if he didn't call it, to tell the truth, I wouldn't have been pissed because it was one of those penalties. If he calls it, okay, fine. If he doesn't call it, I'm fine. I'm fine as well. But I blame the lack of experience from the defender because he extended his arm. So Bajdost went for the ball, and then uh, the defender extended his arm. It was a small push, but to Brun Paixão, that was good enough for a penalty. So the defender, if he kept his arm close to his body, he wouldn't have called the penalty. But when he extended his arm by pushing him, not a whole lot, just a little bit, it gave the perspective to Brun Paixão that it was a penalty, and he called it. So
Right.
it was one of those penalties that it's a 50-50. If he calls it, he might call it, he might not call it, and he called it. So we got lucky with that play because I could have seen Brun Paixão not calling it, and but we had another penalty, Kuwach. That was really a penalty.
That was my dad told me about it. I didn't
Yeah,
see it,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. With the Kuwach play, he got really pushed. That wasn't called, and then we had a handball inside the grande area, and that wasn't called either. But it's one of those plays that the referee, for him, that was not intentional, so that's why he never called that a penalty.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was watching the game, I was actually texting someone as that play was happening because I was just saying, "Oh, that was almost a penalty for Sporting on Bruno Cesar." I don't know if you remember that play. I think that was a very good tackle by the Setúbal defender.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just texting, that person. And moments later, I'm like, "Holy hell, that's a clear penalty," and he calls it. And then I go and watch the replay, and I'm like, "Oh, wait, hold up, it's not as clear as I thought it was." Because to be honest with you, when I was watching it, like from the TV, like live at the moment, I thought it was a clear penalty. But then I was watching the replays, and I was like, well, I'm not so sure now. So I mean, I think it's one of those that if you would have went to the video arbit and like watched the play, I think he would have called it back. But I'm not gonna, whatever. It is what it is. I don't. We'll get to the video arbit when the Benfica game.
I
Hey,
I
hey,
I mean, me personally, I think that I don't think it was a penalty, uh, but I mean, it was, well, it was a penalty. But I'm saying it's going to get that call. I think that he kind of felt the contact. I don't think he was even going to get that ball. Like, it was way over his head. But yeah, I mean, and sometimes you get the call, sometimes you don't. I'm surprised that video officer didn't, review it, review
Mm-hmm.
each penalty.
Mm-hmm. Steph, you were gonna say something?
well, we had a lot of chances for goal. We had at the end a minute 46 with a good shot. We had Prudence minute 51. We had Bazdas minute 54. Uh, we had Matthew with the bicycle kick minute
Yeah.
minute 63.
I remember
So
that play.
then we had Doumbia
What do you,
missing.
Steph? What do you think about starting this man?
About who?
Pudence starting the match, right?
Yes.
What do you think about his performance and you know, it seems like Jesus doesn't. He keeps substituting him even in today's game for the Liga playoffs. I'm sorry.
Champions League, bro.
I was gonna say Liga Europa. Oh no, Champions
Yeah,
League.
calm down. Not yet.
Well, there's. I'm going to tell you something. I'm very active on Twitter, as you guys know, with my Sporting updates UK with Sam Fonseca, and the feedback I'm getting from the Sportingistas, quite a lot of them. It's why is he playing as the number 9 or number 10 with Bas Dost? Because Podence is more of a winger. So he's on a learning curve now. You could see he's learning that new position, and that's messing him up. His production, his performance is not at the peak that we desire because he's not playing as a winger like he likes to play. So by teaching him a new position as number 9 or number 10, then you are conditioning Podence because he's not playing. You could tell he's not comfortable yet. He's on a learning curve, even today on the Champions League game. So my question is, why doesn't he play Doumbia with a lot more experience or Alain Ruiz? Because now he's
He's
good to
back.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back. Because Podence, I would use him, as a winger where he belongs, either
Easy.
on the right or the left as a winger. And if he has to come off the bench and play as a winger, then be it. But for the time being, I mean, Alan Ruiz finished really strong at the end of the season last year. So now, what happened? We don't like him anymore. Come on,
Yeah.
he's still good. So I would like to see Bas Dost with Doumbia or Bas Dost with Alan Ruiz again. But
That second one is gonna be uh, your partnership, in my opinion.
yes, exactly.
Um, um, Steph, can you do me a favor? Can you check like how tall Podence is for me?
Yeah, I'll
Just
check for you.
let me know. Um, so giving my 2 cents while we do that, I thought it was Sporting dominating game. I really didn't pay too much attention to it, but every time I looked, Sporting were in the attack,
Hey,
trying to
hey
score.
guys, hey
So
guys,
yeah,
who's with the back? Who's got the background noise?
he's
Sorry,
rich.
that's me. I'm sorry. Getting some groceries.
Oh,
That's doing
okay, man.
that's doing a podcast and getting some groceries. So
It
you know,
just it makes it sound terrible. That's why.
yeah, just mute it, Rich, while you're not
I got it on
talking.
mute now.
Yeah. Well, he's 5'5".
Okay, it's 5-5.
Yeah.
So I'll just finish my thought before I talk about that. Um, so like I said, I didn't pay too much attention to the game, but every time I watched, Sporting were in the attack. So I mean, I'm not surprised about the result. I didn't see the push, but for my dad to talk about it, then it's because it was a penalty. But I mean, I didn't see it, so I can't talk about it.
But I mean, it was a similar call, I think, for Benfica and against Jardel, and they didn't call that. I forget what match that was. It
That
was.
was against Braga, which I'm going to talk about later.
Oh, okay, okay.
But there it
No,
is.
sure,
There it
but
is for those people concerned about the VAR, the VAR, the video arbiter.
you
Here
want
it
to go
is.
about it now?
No,
You
no,
want
no,
to?
no. I'm just going to touch a little bit. The referee, he still controls the game.
Yeah, that's
So even if the VAR referee says, "Hey, you should look at this play," he could say, "I don't want to."
nah. Fuck you.
Yeah, he could say that. He's
Yeah,
going
I
to
know.
deal. He's going to deal with the pressure later, but he could say it
I mean,
because
they do that with their own assistant, side, assistant referees. If they do that with them, why wouldn't they do it with the video arbiter?
Did you guys? You probably didn't see, but I saw this on Twitter. In a MLS match, I think it was Orlando City or
Yeah,
whatever.
I did watch
The,
that.
Kaká got a red card for playing around, like messing
Uh,
around, right? Then the video arbiter looked at it, and he gave him a
that's
red card.
that's some bullshit. First of all, let me just tell you why real quick. I don't know why we strayed from that, but I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, there is no need for the video arbiter there. First of all, because the assistant ref, there's even a screenshot that he's looking right at Kaka doing what he did to Collins. If he thinks that that's aggression, he says it right there to the ref. They don't need to go to the video arbiter. And second of all, are you so stupid that you can't see the goddamn images of both of them laughing at each other? I mean, if you don't have a little bit of common sense, then and plus it was in the 94th minute and he sent somebody off for that.
Yeah, and they were winning already, like 3-1. And I think even one of the other players was like telling the referee, like, he was playing around with me. You don't have to give him a red card, but he didn't
Yeah,
care. I think
yeah.
they were saying because it's like a law in the MLS, whatever. Like you touch any of the player's face, it's
Nah,
automatic
it's
red or
like
something.
it's a law in every single football country, but to every single law there's like exceptions to the rule, right? That's always the
Well,
thing.
well,
Right.
well. If you're getting paid millions of dollars, like perfect example, Cristiano Ronaldo on the Supertaça. He
I
took
didn't
off
watch
his
that.
shirt. He took off his shirt. He wanted to show up his abs. Fine. He got a yellow because that's what happens when you take off your shirt. So then on the next play, the referee thought he dove into the pool. So then he showed him a second yellow card, and then he got the red card. Then he pushed him. So now
Yeah.
he was suspended by 5 games. One for the two yellows, and four because it's the minimum games.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, the only thing that we're getting at is that, for example, I think that Kaká put himself in trouble first of all for doing that, but then like you're the referee, you have to weigh in everything. Like in the Champions League games, right? Sometimes you see a play like 5 minutes in, and that's a yellow card, but you're like, okay, this is a Champions League game. I'm gonna calm myself down. I'm not gonna give him the yellow. That's the same like type of thought that the referee should have had. I mean, hey, you can see in the images that they're laughing at each other. It's the 94th minute. New York Red Bulls is winning 3 goals to 1. That's not going to change the outcome of the game. So, I mean, let's just, forget about it. If the MLS then wants to review it and give him a red card, they'll give him a red card post game.
I know.
Honestly, that's what I think.
I know. Yeah. No, I agree with you. But it's Kaká. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. When the referee shows they have a megastar, an icon like those two. It's easier sometimes to show a yellow card to make them an example. They
Mm-hmm.
some referees they love to be on the spotlight. They
Yeah.
love that too. So, but anyway, going back to the Sporting game because we were talking about the MLS. Holy cow!
Right. I was going to touch on Podence, wasn't I?
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
this
was
is
gonna.
5-5.
So I was gonna say I'm surprised he's playing another side. I'm surprised he's playing either as a winger or as an attacking midfielder because if there's one thing that JJ always talks about is how he likes those. He's midfielders strong and tall, which Ponens is neither, and he's not even a physical winger either. So I'm just still surprised he's picking him, but eventually I think that's gonna run out. To be honest with you.
Well,
I like that he's playing that position because in my fantasy team I can have a forward for a midfielder's price, but that's just me talking about him now.
Look at this guy
well,
talking fantasy.
no, well, yeah, I know. I understand George Jesus, but is it the time to do it now when you have Doumbia and Alan Ruiz that could play with Bas Dost and they're more capable? I don't think that's the time to experiment.
But
I mean,
Steph, isn't Dumbia also a winger? And I think Alan Luis too, right?
well,
They're wingers.
they could play. Yeah, they could play as wingers, but they do a better job. They taller as a number 9 or number 10. So it would be a better partnership with Bas Dost, just because when when you cross the balls, you want a tall player to be able to reach and score the goals. That's not the case with Podence. I love Podence, don't get me wrong, but I think he would serve us better as a winger. That's just my personal opinion, and a lot of people agree with me. And uh, but that's the way it is with JJ at Teimoso. He's
Yeah,
hard headed. He's hard headed, and people are getting fed up. I was just on Twitter now, and this guy is getting paid top money, and he's still not solving our problems. And Sportingistas, they're getting a little bit
they're
fed up.
impatient. They're getting impatient.
Yeah,
And I don't like that he's not using what's his name, Brian Fernandez. No, como que se chama, guys?
Bruno.
Bruno
He's
Fernandez. Yeah.
playing. He's playing.
No, but
He
he's
played
coming off the
today.
bench. So I
He
think he
played
should
today.
start.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they're playing Adrian, so I mean, like, where
well,
does he fit?
don't forget that we have a game Saturday against Guimarães. So
Right,
there it
right.
is. Yeah, you can play them all. You have to keep some players fresh. I'm pretty sure Fábio Coentrão won't play. I'm pretty sure Jonathan Silva will play.
I need to ask you about that. Like, what is injured, and all of a sudden what?
Steph, did you hear the news that there was an altercation with Quintron and William
That's what
Carvalho?
I.
My
That's
father-in-law said
what.
he read it on
That's what
Record
I.
or something.
That's what I assume.
And
Because for them to say that he's injured, and last minute all of a sudden he's good to go. What?
there's all those altercations. I mean, we just had one with Semedo and Neymar a few weeks ago before he went to Paris Saint Germain, and that happens when it comes out on the news. It comes out on the news, but most of the times it doesn't even come out on the news.
No, and
You know,
I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have come out if he wouldn't have played today, which I thought was just kind of like he didn't make the 21. The 21 man squad. How the hell did he even? That was just surprising to me. I was just surprised.
that they handled it basically. If they had an altercation, like we've had it before too, me and you, and we worked it
Right,
out.
I
You
know,
know,
but I mean, I'm just surprised. That's all I'm saying because it's not that common. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not as common for us to see a player not make the squad the day before and the day after he actually starts. That's all I'm just trying to say. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not common. That's
well,
all.
the thing is when you talk about Fábio Coentrão, he's a player that he's won the Champions League. When you talk about Jeremy Mathieu, or in French you would say Jérémy Mathieu, he's also has lots of experience and he's won the Champions League. So when you put those players on the pitch, they know how to handle the pressure, and they'll bring you something extra. So Jonathan Silva, is a great player. I like him personally. Uh, he came from Boca Juniors in Argentina, and it's a different reality. So Jorge Jesus feels more comfortable with Fábio Coentrão, even knowing today at the end of the game he was exhausted. So, but that's why I think he played, because he brings that extra experience of knowing how to play in the Champions League, how to handle the pressure better. And I like Fábio Coentrão, but you could see he's not ready for 90 minutes.
hmm Right. Completely. Well, okay. All right. I know where we're at. All right. Let's move on to the Steelers game then, because I think we pretty much touched everything and are kind of mixing up things now.
Yeah.
Sporting tied 0-0 against Steaua Bucharest. on their first leg of the Champions League. Sam was at that game. I'm sorry, Sam, that you couldn't see your club win, even though you at halftime still said it was going to finish 3-0. That was not a very close prediction. Patricio in goal, Piccini, Coates, Matthew, and Quintrão, as we said, across the back. Battaglia and Adrian, obviously, even if William does leave, he would never been able to play this game because he's still suspended. Gelson, Acunha podem ser bastos. I'm just going to kick it off by saying that Sporting had a lot of chances. I mean, 4 or 5 good chances. He just couldn't slot them home. And I thought later on, like 75th minute, I think Steelwood could have killed off Sporting, in a very weird fashion, just a quick counter, and they could have won that game. I thought it was dangerous of Sporting to let the game, finish 0-0. I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about minute 77. It was Ali Beck. He gave a good ball to Inashi, and he's a right fullback, so he's not a striker. So luckily, he missed the goal. So so that was an excellent thing for Sportingistas, because a goal against would have been really devastating. A tie is devastating. Everyone is very unhappy. You go to Twitter, you go on Facebook, Instagram, all the Sportingistas, they are very disappointed. But at least, and that's what I'm optimistic by nature. So on Twitter, I told people, at least we didn't have any goals against, which is really important. I believe, and I know that in the second game in Romania, we'll do much better, because they'll be forced, playing at home, to play a forward block, because now they were playing a lower block. So now they'll be forced to attack because they're playing home, and this will give us a chance, like Podence or Dubia, fresh players, to show their skills, and I believe we'll win easily in Romania. But of course, tying at home the way we did, it was frustrating. We could have lost the game. Yes, that was not the only play. They had their forward. His name. Let me get his name. What's his name? I think his name is qual é o nome dele? No, his name was Ali Beg Deniz. He was a captain too. This guy is good. He dribbled on the left wing, Piccini and Jesse Martins. And if it wasn't for that great save by Rui Patricio with his right hand, we would have been 1 goal down. That was in the first half. So, so everyone was underestimating Steaua Bucharest, and actually they have a solid team. And when we don't score, what happens? The other team gains momentum, and then they believe it. Hey, we might have a shot to win. Let's go for it. So that's what happened today. Steaua Bucharest, they struggled the first 20 minutes in the first half, but then they said, "Hey, hold on, they can score, so let's play our game." And they were playing counterattack. They were playing like Tondela or Setúbal when they went to Alvalade last game, low block and let's counterattack. And they almost succeeded. Almost succeeded.
Wait, let me say something before my battery dies. I just want to say I'm rooting for Sporting. I hope that they win, because we need Portuguese teams definitely in the Champions League. And so I don't know what the result was. Did Marítimo play today? Do you guys know what?
No, they played Thursday. Liga Europa plays on Thursdays. Yeah. So Tuesday,
they're getting
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Get smacked.
I think so too. They got unlucky with the draw.
Yeah.
They got very unlucky with the goddamn draw. Yeah. I think Braga has a chance to go through.
If Braga doesn't go through, come on.
Yeah. So, but coming back to Sporting game, we were expecting to win 2-0 at least, and we're lucky to actually have a draw, because they could have scored. Of course, we could have scored too. We had an excellent play from Acuna. was all by himself, and he hit
The
the post.
post. Yeah.
But you got to score those goals, and then at the end, at the very end, Bas Dost uh, yeah, with on a one-on-one with Nita, which is a defender
Wasn't that
from.
called? Okay, sorry. I thought you
No,
were
no,
going to talk about another play.
no. That was a minute 92. In overtime, Bas Dost.
Nah.
It was a difficult play. It was a play like Sverovic to Benfica when he scored
Yeah,
against Shakhtar.
but that
A
was
similar,
offside.
yeah, no. That play was actually onside, but the goalie saved it anyway.
Na 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 na.
No
Basta.
goals.
Shit, merda, meu.
All right. All right. So yeah, was that it on the Steel game?
Well, the only thing I'd like to say is this is today's game with Sporting Steaua Bucharest. Sporting dominated from the get-go, but then when you miss your chances and the other team sees it, and then the coach, these teams are professional athletes. They practice every day. They also get paid, a salary like every player from Sporting. So they can smell blood. They can smell stress. They can smell the pressure because we're playing at home, and sometimes playing at home we had 42,400 fans, 42,400 fans, and sometimes playing at home it's a good thing, of course, but when you don't score towards the end of the game, the pressure accumulates, and that's what happened to Sporting. And then Steaua Bucharest saw it, and they said, "Hey, let's go for it," and they almost stole the game. Luckily, and I'm saying luckily because they really could have scored a minute 77.
They could have.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that one. I was really, 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 really surprised you didn't score that. Because that was one of the easiest chances you're gonna get. So I can understand the frustration, but at the same time, the amount of chances that you kind of created, they created less chances, but they created basically the same amount of danger. So you can't be too annoyed.
yeah, I'm very pleased because I'm going to just say something really fast in less than 2 minutes. Um, Everyone was saying, "Oh, Sporting, the weakness is the defense," and guess what? The defense is doing pretty good. Now we have Matthew. He's doing really well. I love the way he plays. You could see he has tons of experience. Coates is the boss. We know he knows how to play. Fabio Cointran, once he can play the 90 minutes, then he'll be a complete player. But as we speak now, he cannot play 90 minutes. Piccini defending is awesome. Even going forward with the ball is awesome. But crossing, oh my God. You can cross for you can cross for shit. It's so uh, bolas pro ar. That's for the goalie. The goalie is fucking 2 meters and something. He's gonna catch all the balls. Não tem intenção nenhuma de jogar para o jogador, for the striker, and that's not. He can cross. I miss Jefferson because Jefferson on the left wing, of course, he could cross. Look like those deadly crosses, and we don't have that. Yeah, we don't have that. I'm hoping that the new right fullback we acquired, Vistorchvik, I hope he's good in crossing balls, and I hope he's better than Piccini. We'll need both because it's a lot of games. It's like a total of 60 games altogether for the 2017-18 season. So everyone will get to play. That's a sure thing. So, but Piccini so far, I like him, but crossing wise, he needs to improve a lot. And then, the players like Podence, Bruno Fernandes, you could tell that Adrian Silva is not 100% physically fit yet because he was struggling towards the end. That best forma. But these players need to gain confidence in kicking the ball from outside the box. We need that too. We need to play. We need to play a little bit like the English. I want to see beautiful goals from the outside too. But
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, and Bas Dost, if you don't give him the balls he needs to score, he's not going to score. And so far, all the crosses he's been getting, they've been garbage. So it's not Basdor's fault. He's not. Some people are saying, ele está debaixo de forma. Não está nada. Ele não recebe bolas boas. He doesn't get good crosses at all.
Everybody kills goal. Everybody kills strikers, box strikers, because they don't understand the purpose of football.
Exactly.
That's why I'm always so defensive on strikers, is because I understand their role, and the same way that I'll defend the goalkeeper, unless his mistakes reoccur, a lot of times, I'm going to defend the striker the same way, because you got to look at every game individually for them, because every game is totally different for them. Sometimes you're going to have the ball 5 times. In other games, you're going to have like 2 chances, so I will never really go at a striker unless he consistently gets chances and misses them. So anybody bashing Bastos is just stupid.
Exactly, and it upsets me that people don't realize that a striker can only score goals if they get good balls. And then he's not getting those good crosses. He's not at all. So then he won't score. That's simple.
And he's not one of those guys that just can pick up the ball and dribble and shoot. So he can't create it on his own.
You have that. We have Dubia. He could do it. We have Podence. He could do it.
Yeah, no, but I was just saying.
Yeah, but not Bastos. No, Bastos is the typical striker, punta de lança. He needs the balls, and then he will score it for you. But give him decent balls. And so far, Fabio Coentrão and Piccini, or even any
you got to mention Gelson as well.
Gelson Martins. No one is giving him good balls so far, and anyone scores. So that's the dilemma we're having with Sporting. We're going to struggle this year. Every time we play a team that plays low block, we have to figure something out, and that's why Jorge Jesus is getting paid €6 million per year to figure it out. But so far, he's not figuring it out.
He's not figuring anything out.
No, and then me, like a Sportingista, and most Sportingistas, we're getting fed up, because why are we paying you so much money when you don't find any solutions? God damn it! I mean, fuck, put me in. I'll do a better job. Seriously, he's pissing me off too, because we've been giving him everything he wants, and all he's got to show for it, it's a super taça.
Nothing.
He's a super taça, the one he won.
It's nothing.
Which is nothing.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, a long time ago. So. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Jorge Jesus because it does upset me. And I mean, we had Leonardo Jardim. He would have stayed for $6 million. If we paid him $6 million, Leonardo Jardim would have stayed.
Let's not even go there. You shouldn't even have sacked Mark Silva.
Even Mark Silva would have done a better job. He's.
Yeah. I mean, it's not no point beating around the dead bush. We all know what's up. All right. Let's move on to the final topics of today. Unless you want to touch on, I guess you can talk about William Carvalho and the possible transfer, like you said.
Okay, so yeah. So I'll tell you what's going on. So usually what I do, I surf Record, A Bola, and O Jogo, and I try to compile all the news and then put it on our Twitter account, the Sporting Updates UK. And then this is what I got. The latest was from the latest was from it was West Ham will offer 35 million euros by tomorrow, and 5 million in objective. So that would let's wait and see. So that was the latest from William Carvalho. That West Ham will offer 35 million and 5 million in objectives. If Sporting doesn't take it, then they're looking into Danilo from Football Club Porto, or even Feza from Benfica. That's what's on the Portuguese sports papers. From Record, Ziegler very close to become a Sevilla player for $3 million and 500 in objectives. So that would be a good deal.
Amazing. Since he costs like 750,000.
Then there's a couple more things that's interesting. Cedric Casado.
Carrasco, right?
Carrasco, yeah.
Yeah, okay. He said that he signed the deal with Sporting and he's just like waiting on them or something like that. And what? He agreed to terms, right, or something like that.
He said he's got a deal with Sporting for 2 years, but there's a problem with the agents. So the agents, I guess, the commission, there's a problem with that. So Cavacho, he was from Bordeaux, and
Yeah.
he didn't renew with them. So now he's saying that he's got a deal with Sporting, but so far there's no agreement with the agents. So that's what's going on with him. And now, last but not least, uh, Sporting is about to acquire Paulinho. Paulinho is a midfielder from Fluminense. He's only 20 years old, and he would come for the B squad.
Um.
So
Actually, last but not least, what the hell happened with Gabigol?
Gabigol was an attempt from Inter Milan to steal Gelson Martins to lower the fee, because as we all know, the fee is at 100 millions, and they were trying to say, hey, we'll give you Gabigol for X amount plus this amount of money, and then you give us Gelson Martins. But Bruno Carvalho is smart, and the Sad, they're very smart too.
Sure.
They know that the fan base would basically remove his testicles.
Sure.
So they said no way, and that you guys are crazy. Go
If you,
shop it.
all right, if you think that's true, okay. If you think that your fan base thinks like that, then okay. Right. Honestly, I'm talking. Me as a Benfica fan, right? If I have Gelson, and I'm just spitballing numbers here, okay? I'm not saying they are accurate, but if they offer like 40 million or 45 million plus a very high potential striker that even if he doesn't play well for you, you can sell him for a large fee. Uh, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say no to it. To be honest with you, that's just my point of view. I'm sure you can disagree if you want. I'm just saying that.
What I think is the way the philosophy behind Gelson Martins is he's a young player. Okay, so next year we have the World Cup. So if he plays a good season this year, then for sure he'll be on the A squad of the national team. So then next year we'll be able to sell him for a lot more. That's the mentality
I
behind it.
don't know. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna move it. Move to Benfica because we have to because we're running
Okay.
low on time. But
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that the thing that I believe with Sporting is that they're not a big name, and stuff like I'm not trying to be biased here, but
Uh-huh.
Benfica and Porto have a higher bargaining chip for who they are and for what they've gave other clubs. Obviously, I know that good players like Ronaldo and stuff came from Sporting, but in most recent years there hasn't been a big sale. I mean, one of your biggest sales besides Romario and Slimani was Rojo for 20 million, and you didn't even see 1 cent of that. So Sporting has a much more difficult time to bargain with the club because of their past in relation to Benfica and Porto, which I still think Porto is superior to Benfica because I see Porto getting higher fees for players that I believe aren't even that good, and if they were at Benfica, they would probably leave for a lower price. That's just my opinion on why that Gelson Martinez deal can kind of bounce back and screw up Sporting.
Okay. So let me give you my 2 cents, and then we'll wrap it up and move to Benfica.
Yeah.
I will agree with you from a couple of years ago. Yes, but Bruno Carvalho has changed that ideology, because now we sold Jean-Marie 40 million, Slimani 30 million. We just sold for 14 million Usmedo. So the mentality with Godin Lopes, with Bintercourt, they would sell too fast because they were struggling paying the bills. That's done. Bruno Carvalho is a businessman. So he might talk a lot of shit, I give you that. But as far as a businessman, and even talking shit now, he's been really behaving, he's really good. So he's changing that perception. We actually have gotten better deals than Football Club Porto lately. When was the last time Football Club Porto sold a player for 40 millions? I'm talking about 2 years ago. Do you
They
recall?
sold 40 million Andre Silva.
André
first
Silva,
time or
but
stuff like that.
okay, André Silva is an outstanding striker, and he
Right.
deserves
No,
that kind of money.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. I get what you're saying, but I think we're gonna, there's two sides. We don't know which one is right, but I think people understand your opinion on the subject and mine
Okay,
as well.
all I'm saying is I think the mentality that now is changing with Bruno Carvalho. He's not.
Mm.
He's patient. He's willing to wait for the best offer,
Yeah.
and that's where the difference is with Bruno Carvalho, the era of Bruno Carvalho, and the era before Bruno Carvalho. I don't need to say the other president's name, and that's all I have to say. Sporting will make better deals now because we have a better president, a better side. They're more patient, and we'll see
Right.
players being sold with really high fees.
I'm just, I just want to say that I'm surprised if there aren't the fees that you guys would like to see, just because Sporting isn't a big name yet, in my opinion. That's all I'm just trying to say. Is that sometimes you think that you could sell him for like 60 million. Maybe if it was a Benfica in Porto, you could sell that player for 60 million. But because it's Sporting, they might not sell. That's what I'm trying to say. But we really need to move on. So unless you want to just say something in like 10 seconds.
Okay, I'll say something in 10 seconds. Yes, Sporting is a big club. Sporting Club
No, yeah.
Portugal Sporting is a huge club. Everybody knows Sporting. We've gone to 3 finals. We've lost 2 of them.
I'm not
And
trying. I wasn't trying to
no,
take
no,
a
no.
shot at you.
No, it's fine. We have 25 international trophies with all modalities included. We're just behind Barcelona, and that's it. So we are a big club. Like I've told you many times before, it's not only about football.
No,
Everybody
I
know.
know, I know.
Everybody.
That wasn't what I was trying to get at. It was just the market name, basically, not the Sporting Club Portugal, the institution. It's the market value of playing a Sporting. It isn't the same as playing for Benfica and Porto. That
But
was
but
all I was trying to get at.
but
That
it's
was it.
changing. But it's changing.
It's
It's getting
changing.
better.
I know, I agree, but I was just saying.
I see what you mean. The reputation was dented for many years, and
Yeah,
now we up and coming again. So
exactly.
so I know what you're saying, but we actually we're neck to neck with Benfica and Porto now in selling players, and the last 2 sales proves it, and this one with Bruno with William Carvalho will prove it too. But let's move on to Benfica games.
Yeah. At least this time, Bruno Carvalho didn't play in the midfield.
Get out.
All right, so we have 2 Benfica games to cover. I'm gonna try and be as fast as I can with the first one, and we'll move on to the second one because we still gotta talk the video art for a moment, not too much.
Okay.
Benfica played Braga. They won 3-1. Seferovic, Jonas, and Salvi scored for Benfica. Hassan scored for Braga. Bruno Varela was in goal. Almeida, Luizão, Jardel, and Elisa across the back. Feza and Pizzi in the midfield. Servi, Salvio, Jonas, and Seferovic. Benfica pretty much killed off this game in the first 15 minutes. Right, I mean, they scored the first goal early. Wait, not the first. When was it? Like 20-something minutes in. That Benfica scored the first goal. The second goal came shortly after, I think, like in the 30th minute. Then we saw kind of the same thing that we did against Guimarães, where the final 5 minutes was mostly just Braga. They get the goal out of a lack of communication, but still, I think Varela could have done better on that play. But it was a lack of communication by him and Jardel, which it's going to happen given that they don't play a lot of time together. Then Benfica scored the 3-1, and then Braga scored a goal that was rightfully disallowed. Then they scored another goal, which it's controversial. We'll get to that. But in the end, I think Benfica won this game. I'm not going to say with ease, but they didn't really have to try too much. There were times until we scored the third goal where things weren't as easy, but that's kind of what you expect out of Braga. So it's not a surprise to me that there's going to be possessions that you're going to lose. And for about the 40th minute to the 50th minute, where Benfica scored the third goal, it was a pretty even game. I don't know if you watched this game, Stefan. If you want to share your opinion on this one.
Well, the only it was a good game. Benfica did play better than Braga, and the only thing that was questionable was the goal that was canceled. From the second goal would have made the game 2-2.
No, 3-2.
3-2 exactly. I'm sorry, and that's That's the thing I'm not getting, because if you look at the replay, you could see that I don't know who was on the left side from the Benfica side.
It was Seferovic.
Isso, o Sferovit. O Português, they call him Sferovit. And he was putting the Braga player into play. And I can't believe that the VAR missed that. So, I'm for the VAR. I think the
Hmm.
video arbitral is a good thing. But these guys inside the truck, would they
Uh-huh.
drink?
They're
Would
not
they?
actually. They're at the Federação. Like,
Oh, the statue.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Would they drinking wine?
see,
Porra.
the only I wrote this. I don't know if you saw it. You might have missed it. I am 100% against the video referee, and you know that, and I've
I'm,
said that. I'm
I'm
sorry. I don't think unless it's perfected, which it clearly isn't. I'm against it. I think it's
okay.
way too early, and we're pushing it. But anyway, if there's one thing that I will give them always the benefit of the doubt is that they have real time lines. Those little lines that they make. You know, and it shows the position of the player. They also have extra cameras that we don't have, that they are pitch side cameras, that show exactly where the player is. So they could have seen Seferovic and where his foot was and everything, like we couldn't. So if there's one thing that I will give them always the benefit of the doubt is on offsides, because they have real time lines made for them to decide if it is offside or not. I mean, honestly, personally, I think it could have been actually ruled onside, because there's doubt. Like, there's no, we're not 100% sure. Honestly, I will give him the benefit of the doubt on offsides, because, if it wasn't for Peneric saying on Sport TV that they have real life lines, I wouldn't be defending them. But if they saw the play, they saw the lines, they saw the several camera angles that they have, I can't really, I mean, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and he might come back to bite me, but I'm not gonna change that.
But that's the thing, and I agree with you. Maybe they saw something we couldn't see from home. I agree with you. So then put it out there, let it come out,
Yeah,
let us see.
that's
You
what I
know,
agree. That's
because
what I agree.
that's what he did with the uh, when we scored against Monaco, the uh, the game at home with Monaco.
Yeah, I know.
Uh, so for you, jogo da apresentação, that
I know.
game. Uh, the next day, they explained why the goal was validated, and they showed the video árbitro no record. They had the video display, everything. They explained everything. So there's no ifs and buts. Put it out
Yeah,
there.
put it
Let
out
his
there.
friends let his friends see it. But
Yeah.
that was the only questionable play I saw.
Oh,
Uh,
I forgot. I almost
from
forgot about one. Thanks for that.
yeah for the Benfica Braga game.
Yeah.
Benfica looks actually, to tell the truth, I'll admit it. Benfica looks good actually. I was not expecting uh, for Benfica to be playing so well as they are. Even against Chaves,
Yeah.
they played well. They deserve to win the game. But if they tied the game, it wouldn't be a scandal, because Chaves
No.
did have their chances also to score. But if you had to have a winner, it would have to be Benfica, and which they had luck on their side. Minute 92, Sferovic scored, but that's what strikers do. They wait for that one play and they score. And
Yeah.
this guy's pretty good. That was a good buy by Benfica. This guy's good.
Yeah. So the plays, the play that I was going to talk about was the Jardel one, and I think that is a TV penalty. What I mean by that is that I think that there's no way in hell that the referee, with everything happening around him, would call that a penalty in real time. What I think he should have done is, before blowing the whistle for halftime, he's checking the play, deciding if it's right or not, and then he'll give his 2 cents or just end the half. Like, no, okay, this wasn't a penalty, let's just end the half. In my opinion, I think that it's a penalty, but like, okay, whatever. He didn't call it. It ended up not costing us anything, so it's okay. The one play that I'm going to talk about is going to be next on the Chaves game. That I think that's where the video referee needs to be perfected, and I'll get onto that. Um, so as you said, Benfica won 1-0 against the Chaves. Seferovic scored the goal. It was the same lineup as the last one, so no need to mention that. Uh, Benfica was clearly the superior side throughout the game, although the first half was kind of even.
Mhm.
But Deus Pereira absolutely destroyed Eliseu in the first half. He just destroyed him completely. But they didn't score. And Benfica had their fair chances. Benfica hit the post. They had a ball cleared off the line. They had like 25 shots, for God's sake. So, in the end, to be a winner, like you said, I think Benfica deserves to win. I said that to Brandon, what I was just saying is that I wouldn't call it unfair if we would have tied the game because 80 minutes in, I'm like, okay, this is not going to go anywhere. We're going to tie this game. But if you look at the stats and everything that happened, it's like it's not a bad result. I mean, it sucks for Chaves because it happened on the 92nd minute. If it would have happened on the 70th minute, it wouldn't have had the same impact. If you know what I'm trying to say. A lot of people wouldn't have said, "Oh, Benfica got lucky," because it was on the 70th minute and not on the 92nd minute, which I also think puts perspective into the game, a different perspective. But I thought Chaves played really well in the first half. But like Luis Castro said in the press conference, they didn't play in the second half. They were very defensive. I mean, even he admitted it that it wasn't an even game in the second half. Benfica did everything to win. And what I really appreciate, three strikers on the pitch. If that doesn't tell you, something, then you're crazy. Benfica played to win. I thought it was ridiculous to take off Servi because he's a tremendous player, and to sell him off for Rafa and not bring off Salvio was just really stupid in my opinion. But Benfica ended the game with basically no wingers. So that was interesting. But overall, I mean, I think we deserve to win that game. I'm gonna let you go on about the game, and then I'll talk about the play that I want to talk about.
Okay, so besides Benfica, I did watch the game, and from the Benfica side, I was impressed with Bruno Varela, his composure for playing with such a big team with a lot of history and used to win titles. He was excellent. I know Benfica was skeptical, but me, when I saw you guys buying it, supposedly it was supposed to go on the loan. You guys were looking into buying another goalie. I know Benfica commentators from Tritugas, from the two Portuguese, from the Benfica podcast, from Talk to the Doll. They were skeptical about it, but I got to
I'm
tell you,
still
you too. But I got to tell you, this guy I think has a lot of potential. His only weakness, we all know what it is. It's coming out of the posts.
yeah.
But that's why you go to a big club like Benfica and you get better because now you have a good coaching, a good coach, goalie coach. You have a good Rui Vitória knows how to work with the youth. So I think this guy has a lot of potential, and he's only going to get better. And he demonstrated that against Chaves. So I was very impressed with him. Luizão, hey, for his age, he did pretty good. Andre Almeida, that's not Smidl. You guys will struggle. I mean, he's okay, but he's not Smidl. Jardel is consistent. Eliseu, you know, you could see that he will struggle with players like that can dribble, like Mateus, like you just said, and Justin Martin is going to take him. He's
No,
going to
but
dissect him.
I'm going to put this out there, and I think he was actually, genuinely having a bad game as well, because I've seen him struggle and I've seen him have good games against, difficult opponents. So I think he genuinely struggled on that game. Like he wasn't playing well. I don't think it was even just the fact that it was Matheus Pereira going up against him. He simply just wasn't playing well as well, which
Okay.
I think you could notice. I think it was noticeable that he wasn't playing well.
Yeah.
But there's credit to Matheus. Big credit.
Yeah. A lot. PG very consistent. Fedja again as a mid defender, very consistent. Janis is a good striker. Sverovic also very good addition to Benfica. Servi, I think he was off a little bit. Salvio, he shows his experience, and he was actually on the first half the most dangerous player from Benfica.
Hmm.
So they had a very consistent game, and Benfica is showing consistency. And then from Chaves, I'm just going to mention a couple names. I was very impressed with Domingo Duarte. He's a loan from Sporting, but
That freaking tackle.
uh, his composure was amazing. I was very impressed with Jefferson and William. They're very, very fast. These two guys, they're going to create a lot of problems
You mean the striker?
yeah,
William the striker?
Jefferson do meio campo and
Yeah,
William the
I don't like
striker.
William. I
Yeah.
honestly don't. But
They were pretty fast, and I was very impressed with them. I was impressed with Mateus as well too, but it seems like he can't hold 90 minutes because towards the end he was like
yeah,
sitting down on the field, complaining about Coimbras. His muscles were, So,
I think
but
even Domingos Duarte was saying for him to get up.
yeah,
It was just like
exactly.
either go to the bench or fucking get up.
They didn't have any more subs. That's why. But Chaves is a pretty decent team. I mean, you're talking about a lot of experience from the goalie Ricardo. He's been playing our league forever.
Made big saves.
Yeah, Paulinho, Domingo Duarte, Nuno Coelho. He was from Braga, went to
Freaking
Sporting.
hell.
A lot of
That
experience.
that guy was so bad last year, and no, I was surprised how good he was
Yeah.
yesterday. Holy hell!
Chaves put a really good team together, and they have a really good coach. Luis Castro, he comes from the Porto school. You could see he will develop young players. And I could see Chaves finishing in fifth, sixth place this year. They have a good team. But Benfica did deserve to win the game with a little bit of luck, but that's what you need to be champion. You need a little bit of luck. And but if it was a tie, it would have been fine too because Chaves created enough chances to actually level the game.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about the Matheus Pereira play where even Ojog said I was surprised, unanimously red card, which it was. He just kind of kicked the Benfica player. I can't remember who it was. It was after Benfica scored. I understand the frustration, but that kid needs to learn how to keep his emotions in check because that was a straight red, and he got lucky. He got a yellow. Um, I don't know if you want to if you saw the play.
Yeah. I do remember it was Kuhafa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Rafa,
Yeah. I remember because I think he realized that he fucked up because when he kicked him, that was very harsh. You don't do that to a not a teammate, but a professional. You both soccer players, football players.
Yeah.
You don't do it to each other, and you could have hurt him. Rafa didn't like it because he felt like in an awkward position. He could have gotten hurt the way he fell. So I didn't like that foul. I think that was ugly from Matheus Pereira.
Yeah.
And he got lucky he didn't get a red card. You're correct about that.
All right, and the last play that I want to talk about and the last topic is a penalty that I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw the play, but it was on Jonas. It was Pedro Tiba.
Second half?
Yeah, second half when Seferovic heads the ball wide off the bar. Right behind him, Jonas gets clipped by Pedro Tiba. I have the play if you want to see it. Simple as that. If you don't know the play, and it is a penalty. I was surprised. Even Sport TV after the game, Pedro Henriques was talking about it and he said, "Yeah, that is a penalty." And that's what I have a gripe against the video arbiter is that they need to be allowed to intervene. They need to be allowed to say, "Stop the game, watch the play. It's a penalty." I think that's one of the biggest issues that we got going is that they that's one of the only ones that you can see, through the video arbiter.
And they can actually, yes, they can. They can tell the referee, "Hey, listen, you should see this play," but it's up to the referee.
I know, but you need that's what needs to change. I sent you the play, by the way. It's a two-parter. First, it's the Jardel one, but the play after is the one that I'm talking about. If you want to see it.
Yeah, mas the problem is the referee still controls the game. So let's say you're the referee on the pitch, and I'm inside the truck watching the videos, and I'm calling you, "Hey, Peter, you better check the last play. I think it was a penalty, and you blow me off. Then you blow me
I
off.
know.
There's nothing I can do. The referee on the pitch still makes the final call, and I hate that too. I agree with you. It should be automatic. Me personally, I think sooner or later it'll be a little bit more Americanized, because like in the NFL,
Hmm.
you throw the flag, and then the manager is allowed to challenge certain plays.
See, that's what I thought would have been a good system for the video referee, is that you
Me
would
too.
give maybe one or two plays, not more than that, not more than that, where the coach would, do whatever, talk to the assistant ref, talk to the fourth ref, talk to somebody, throw a flag, and okay, stop the play, review the play right there. Because
Exactly.
I've sent you the video. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, check it out. To me, but it's one of those where you see it on the replay, like it's as clear as day, but you can't stop the play. Now, that's the issue that I also have with the video referee, is that I don't understand why we have no input on it. Like, if I'm the coach, right? If I'm the coach, I'm thinking, why do we
Oh,
have a
okay.
perfect system
I
to
just, I just saw
to
it.
okay, you've seen it. Okay, what do you think before I
Uh, uh, I mean, he's kind of hugging him. Um,
watch
so
the foot? Watch the foot. He extends his foot and
okay, let
he
me see. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Okay. The second video. Oh,
mm-hmm.
I see what you mean. Uh, okay. Yeah. It could have been called. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Uh,
so what I was saying is that me as a coach, right? What I'm thinking is that we have a perfect system to end flaws, but they don't allow us to challenge plays we see are wrong, you know, or or kind of like in the NFL where there was this play where a player made the catch and they ruled it incomplete. And he went to the coach and he said, "I caught it, I caught it, I caught it." And the coach threw the flag and he caught it. Actually, on the replay you see it. That could also happen in football where you're like, "Coach, I got grabbed, I got pulled. I know I got pulled. Pull out that flag because we're going to get a penalty out of this." I think that's what we kind of need to add as well, because if you're the coach,
oh
you want to be
yeah,
able to have a word on it.
but I think that was outside the box, though. But yeah, that was a foul at least.
Yeah, at least a very dangerous foul anyway,
Yeah,
right?
that was yeah. He tripped him. Yeah, definitely. No, no, I agree with you. But the thing is, to introduce this to the football world, it's so difficult because it's like they don't want to copy a style from the Americans. But me personally, I think it would be a lot more
I
fun
think
to
it's the only way that makes sense. I think it's the
actually
only way that makes sense.
it would be a lot more fun to actually get the coaches more involved into the game, because all they do now is hey tamaupa, they complain to the fourth referee, they
But
give tactics and subs. If they could get more involved and actually be capable of making those kind
challenging.
of the challenging decisions. Hey, not even throw a flag, just go to the fourth ref. I want to challenge this play, and then you
Yeah.
could come up with a system of, okay, if you're wrong, then we'll deduct a sub from you, something like
Or
that.
not even
Oh,
just
no?
that. Let's say you have two, you have two plays that you can challenge, right? If you fail the first one, you don't get the right to the second one. That's it. I mean, that's as
That
simple as that, for example,
yeah, yeah. You could come up with different systems, or you could, like I said, you could say, you know what, we'll deduct you a sub then, or like you said, you won't get the second chance. That's it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you totally, because the referee, and the Portuguese referee, eles são tão teimosos e tão vaidosos, for them to admit that they're wrong, they don't like that.
I know, and
They
uh,
don't
and
like
uh,
that.
and we're gonna end it off here, but I'm just gonna leave with something that my dad said he listened of Duarte Gomes saying, is that the video referee is useless unless on goal reviews, because it can literally shout into your ear, "It's a fucking penalty," and you can just say, "You know what, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
give a shit about what you say." And it
exactly.
is it is the sad truth is that some referees, I believe that there's some referees in our league that are more than okay with accepting a mistake, and that they'll call the penalty or miscall the penalty, like put, say, "Oh wait, this isn't actually a penalty," and you know but most of them are not going to be like that. And What I think the issue is with the referees, it's not even close to being perfected. And I think if you're a coach, you're gonna be annoyed because calls can go against you, and you can't do anything against, or let's say, for example, let's put this quick example and then we're gonna get off. There's a penalty against you, right? The referee can't see it, but he goes to the video referee and it's a penalty and he calls it. It's right. It's the right call. 5, 20, 15 minutes later, that's a very similar play happens to you, but the referee doesn't stop the game and he continues on, and then you go ahead, see the replay, and you actually see it's a penalty, and you believe you're fucked, and you were fucked. So the coaches should have like some type of way to force the referee to be the same with each team. You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
Like,
I know. I totally agree with you at 100%, because what we see now, for example, in the NFL, your coaching staff, most of them, they're not even with you. They
no.
actually up in the upper level, solely watching all the replays, and then
Mm-hmm.
they have a radio or a headphone, and they call each other, "Hey, head coach, you should call that because that's a touchdown." And then that's how it should be in soccer too, because I think the referees have too much power on their hands, and it should be shared. It should be given to the coaches as well. They should have a challenge method, and they should say, and the
Right,
coaches should be allowed to challenge certain plays. And then, of course, the final call will still be the referee, but
yeah,
not the
it
ref.
doesn't change anything,
Yeah,
right? The only thing that changes is it forces you to watch the replays. That's
yeah.
it.
So the referee now has the capacity, the capability of saying, okay, I got my 2 assistant linesmen and the 4th referee, and everyone can take a look, or me and him, and then we'll decide. But now it's a period of adjustment, and the referees, what I see is they blowing off the VAR. They saying
Of
whatever,
course. Yeah.
and we don't see it, but at the same time we kind of see it, because sometimes you could see them, they're listening to something and they don't even care.
Like, for example, I think it wouldn't have shocked me if Paixão would have asked to see the replay of the Bastos goal, because I truly believe that the video referees probably turned to him and said, "Yo, that might not actually be a penalty. Watch the replay." I truly think that they probably did that, but there's no way of us knowing, and there's no way of forcing the referee to do so. That's the only thing that annoys me.
I agree with you,
But
and to me, if it's a penalty or if it's a goal, they should review it no matter what.
yeah,
Yeah,
which it isn't. Which it isn't. It's
if
only by
if
the VAR, but I mean, it
if
doesn't
if
actually.
if, if they get the call from the VAR, if they get
Yeah,
the call, hey Peter, you should check this. I think there's a doubt. Then you must check it. But if they
yeah.
don't call you, then okay, don't waste your time. Just move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Steph. It was a really, really fun episode. It was a long one as well, but we talked about a lot of stuff. And yeah, thanks for being here with us today. Thank you, Rich, for being here until your phone died, but I appreciate it anyway. So we'll be back next week. We're going to be talking probably Sporting second leg, which is next week. So probably do it on this episode on a Wednesday. We'll be talking Benfica against Belenenses. We'll be talking Porto Moreirense and Guimarães Sporting. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you for the invite. Bye.